Capo versus Styles P.
He don't got enough catalog for that.
It sounds like he want to do one with 50 Cent. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Jim.
Nah, I don't want to do nothing with that sucker. You heard? Leave him out of the conversation.
Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them, but they forget I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself, gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, me, Jim Jones.
Look, you all know you on that good stuff, but you not seeing Nas. You not Nas, bro. Let's be real. Ain't nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the diplomats but you. Hold on, Jim. Hold on. Bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you
dress.
Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the things that we listen to.
I can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that, bro. For you to even say that,
bro. Don't do that, bro. That's
I got a question.
Things just got messy in the world of hip-hop. Jim Jones lit a fire claiming he's more influential than Nas. And now the internet won't stop talking. From podcast chaos to old wiretaps resurfacing, even 50 Cent stepped in without saying a word, just letting the receipts do the work. And while Nas stays silent, fans are picking sides fast. Is this just clout chasing or something deeper? Grab your snacks because this beef might be way bigger than anyone expected.
And check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries and check all them entries and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody. I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on.
I got a question. Stick up for itself and meet me in a booth for something if we want to do something historical.
Nas say he don't do that no more. Nas say he don't do that
because he got $100 million. He's a very wealthy man. You heard he's a very smart businessman. Well, you better check my stats, bro. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep it a buck. You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up.
I thought Jim was talking about as far as right now in the clubs and everything is out. He's more relevant to the kids than Nas. That's what he was saying. He's saying to the kids.
I don't care about relevancy though. I care about classic. You see,
but that's what he was talking about.
You see when Jay-Z come out in Paris at 55 years old, that's what I care about. I don't care about the relevancy is like for the moments.
Jim Jones pulled up to Shannon Sharpe's podcast and didn't just stir the pot, he flipped the whole kitchen. He claimed he wasn't just relevant, but actually more influential than Nas. That's a huge statement. And the second it left his mouth, the energy shifted. 50 Cent didn't react the way people expected. No subtweets, no shady captions. He just dropped an old federal court transcript on his Instagram without saying a word. And from there, the internet lit up. Fans started digging into wiretaps and pulling up old footage. Suddenly, everyone was playing detective while Jim was out here in the gym, sounding like he's rehearsing diss bars behind bars, barking like he's ready for a Riker-style battle.
I don't want nobody to watch what I say, watch what I do. Because in the midst of me talking, still getting to the bag, I'm still working, I'm still going to the office, I'm still making sure everything has to be done under my roof for me to live and be successful out here. You know what I mean? Like, never forget that bottom line. I'm still doing all the things I need to do in the midst of this circus that y'all see going on. I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you
is I want to go there. I want to go down the line now, because now we going down the line.
Jim Jones went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's. Oh, look, a topic in a topic.
Yeah.
He went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast and had a lot to say about some dude on the internet that said Jim Jones is better than Nas and has more Billboard hits than Nas.
It was a young kid. I believe he was like 23 or something, 22, 23. And he was saying that for his generation, his era, they don't look at Nas.
But let's be real, this isn't just about Nas, and it's definitely not just some egotistical flex. It felt more like 50 Cent reminding the whole industry exactly who still holds the power. Like he's saying, y'all must have forgot who's untouchable out here. And when people started wondering how certain names keep avoiding legal trouble, it got even spicier. Maybe Jim thought he was just making a bold statement, but he might have kicked off something much bigger than he expected. Something that's now way past music beef. Every time Jim brings up Nas, it hits different. And that's because there's history, deep history. Their tension didn't start recently. It actually goes all the way back to 2002. That's when Nas randomly called out Cameron during a Hot 97 rant and called his album whack. That one comment lit the match. Dipset didn't hold back. Jim got involved, and from there things escalated fast. Nas went after mixtapes. Dipset fired back, and Jim got personal. He even threatened Nas directly, and kept that same energy in songs like It's More Than Music and We Fly High. And here's where it gets a little complicated. Despite everything, Jim has always admired Nas. Just a year ago, he wasn't talking down on him at all. In one clip, Jim actually admitted he never got the chance to have a real conversation with Nas, and that was something he regretted. He said Nas was one of his all-time favorite rappers. He even mentioned that back when Live at the Barbecue dropped, Nas was the one who showed the world what dope boy rap really looked like. According to Jim, Nas brought that hustler style and lyrical depth before anyone else even thought to do it. Things took another wild turn when Jim Jones pulled up on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast. Fat Joe didn't waste time. He went straight for the controversy. He brought up a clip from Instagram where a young fan was comparing Jim to Nas, saying Jim had more hits, more drip, more influence. Fat Joe told Jim that the kid even said he learned how to rock a BB Simon belt from watching him.
A lot of people took offense to that. I personally did not take offense just because of the kid's age, of the generation.
It's like a sports conversation. Like the numbers are the numbers. But in New York City, with rappers, we don't necessarily go by that.
Yes, Travis Scott is the bigger act, more hits, more numbers, more. But to the rappers, don't nobody give a fuck about what Travis Scott is talking about.
And that blew his mind because in Fat Joe's words, Nas is like a god in my era. Jim didn't back down. He actually leaned into the praise. He said he grew up admiring Nas. When Nas first dropped Live at the Barbecue, Jim was still in high school. He said Nas was an idol back then. His music, his fashion, his wordplay, all of it.
I don't want nobody to watch what I say, watch what I do. Because in the midst of me talking, still getting up, getting to the bag, I'm still working, I'm still going to the office, I'm still making sure everything has to be done under my roof for me to live and be successful out here. You know what I mean? Like, never forget that bottom line. I'm still doing all the things I need to do in the midst of this circus that y'all see going on.
But once Jim made it in the game, he said the idol turned into a rival. Jim claimed he built his own lane, and now the younger generations look up to him in the same way he once looked up to Nas. In his words, it's just a different era. Then Jim dropped the real heat. He said when he started blowing up, the kids showed him love, but many of them didn't even know who Nas was. Jim pointed out that if someone is 22 years old today, they were born in 2003. So while some of them might know Nas, a lot of them just don't. Jim wasn't claiming he was still relevant. He was basically saying he had more cultural pull than Nas ever did.
I thought Jim was talking about as far as right now in the clubs and everything is out. He's more relevant to the kids than Nas. That's what he was saying. He's saying to the kids.
I don't care about relevancy though. I care about classic. You see,
but that's what he was talking about.
You see when Jay-Z come out in Paris at 55 years old, that's what I care about. I don't care about the relevancy is like for the moments.
That's a bold statement considering we're talking about Illmatic Nas, Queensbridge legend, lyrical icon, and a rapper who's still selling out arenas in his 50s. But Jim wasn't blinking. He stood on it. He said, "You know me, Jim Jones. Not Dipset, not anybody else, just me. Look at my track record. Look at the Billboard charts. I've been doing numbers. People love to compare, but when they do, they start getting shady, and I've been out here proving them wrong." And just when you thought he might chill, nope. Jim took the conversation to Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson. The drama from the first podcast hadn't even cooled off, and Jim was already back in the spotlight, ready to double down. Shannon didn't let him off easy. He kicked things off by asking, "Jim, you smoke, right?" Jim laughed and said, "Yeah." Then Shannon hit him with the follow-up. "Were you smoking when you said you was better than Nas?" Jim joked that maybe he was, just a little. But then he got serious.
I want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas' Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there. Hold on.
Jim flat out said he was way more influential than Nas and didn't care what anybody thought. He said he knew he had made it and brushed off all the album sales talk. He gave Nas credit for being dope back in the day, said he had a little run, but made it clear that he believed his own impact was bigger. And instead of letting it go, he kept going, bringing up old Dipset tracks, and claiming that while he was once a huge Nas fan, he had since surpassed him in influence. Jim tried to balance the heat by showing Nas some love. He called Nas one of the flyest ever, and said he used to want to dress like him because the street hustlers copied Nas's style. He gave props to Illmatic, and even mentioned being a big fan when Nas dropped The Barbecue. But then, Jim flipped the script and said that after the movie Belly, Nas kinda lost him. He didn't let go of the main argument either. Jim said that Nas never had the kind of impact on the streets that he did. According to him, Nas always came in second to guys like Jay-Z and DMX. This was his way of saying, I've been more influential than the rapper people call a god. Shannon Sharpe wasn't buying it. He pushed back hard, telling Jim to stop playing. Shannon basically said, look, you've been around, but lyrically, let's be real. Then he straight up clowned Jim's style and said they didn't even move in the same circles. Shannon pointed out that he could show up at a church and still be good, implying Jim wouldn't exactly be welcome there. He told Jim, I don't know who told you you're that guy, but you're not.
Look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not Nas, bro. Let's be real. Ain't nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
Bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you
with
dress.
Nas.
Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the
But
things
I-
that we, the listen to
I
me,
can
the
be in the
things-
church
the
house.
things-
You can't
the
F with Nas
things
lyrics.
that we- the
I don't know
things
who
that we-
told you that. Now,
He even joked that Jim had to be high to make those claims. Jim didn't take that lightly. He fired back, mocking Shannon's tight shirt and saying a bunch of older folks were pressed because he said he was better than Nas. He even dared Shannon to revisit Dipset tracks like I Really Mean It and compared legacies, all while Chad just sat there like a referee at a heavyweight match, watching it all unfold. Jim kept pressing. He said he was still playing the game at a high level and that lyrically, he could out-rap Nas right now. Check my stats, he said. I'd run circles around Nas today. That's when things exploded. Shannon had had enough. He accused Jim of just trying to get views. Shannon shouted, "This is the biggest podcast you've ever been on." And when Jim tried to talk over him, Shannon clapped back again. "Name a bigger one. You only get on Club Shay Shay when you're making noise. This is what I do." The energy went from playful to tense in seconds.
You and Shannon Sharpe was going at it.
I'm gonna put it to you like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look
ain't
how you
effing with
dress.
Nas.
Look how you dress.
Then Shannon flipped the whole vibe and went from podcast host to gym rival. He joked that Jim needed to start buying bigger shirts and asked, "You really want to see me in the gym?" He wasn't just talking. Shannon said they could settle things in workout, strength, cardio, whatever. He told Jim, "Put your money where your mouth is, I'll burn you." Jim tried to switch the subject from music to fitness, like he was trying to win another lane. But while he was busy trying to flex in the gym, 50 Cent was playing the long game behind the scenes. 50 never jumped into the drama with a loud post or an attention grab. He just stayed quiet, too quiet. Fans started to notice. While Jim was doing interviews and doubling down, 50 was in the shadows, pulling strings and watching the chaos. And when Shannon, a respected NFL Hall of Famer, publicly sided with Nas, that lit the internet on fire. The energy shifted. People started digging through old wiretap clips and putting puzzle pieces together. One fan summed it up perfectly in a post that went viral. Shannon did what Fat Joe and Jada should have done. Jones, you're delusional. Shannon, thank you for speaking facts. While Jim kept running his mouth and the podcast kept rolling, 50 Cent stayed completely silent. Not a word. He didn't need to say anything. He just let the tension grow and let the fans do all the talking. Nas, as usual, kept things classy and stayed quiet too. But the silence from 50 wasn't ordinary. Anyone who's watched him move knows when he's not talking, it usually means he's planning something. If that leaked wiretap involving Jim is actually real, he might have talked himself into something way bigger than just rap beef. And now the real question is, will Nas finally step in and respond with bars? Or is 50 going to sit back, wait until it's too late, and drop the truth when Jim can't undo the damage? One fan online joked that they couldn't even imagine writing a diss about Jim Jones. Like, where do you even start? They were like, he was nice about him. What do you even say in that first bar? They admitted they weren't hyped for a Jim Jones diss track at all. It wasn't the kind of tension you'd get with Cannabis or Eminem. Those battles meant lyrical war. This one, not so much. Though they still gave Jim his flowers and said, I respect you for getting your money. But here's what really shook the room. Back in the day, Nas straight up laughed Jim off the stage. Didn't even waste time responding. That same energy is hitting again in 2025. Nas is ignoring the noise. Shannon Sharpe's flexing on podcasts. And 50, he didn't even blink when Jim said he had more influence than Nas. Instead, 50 made a quick phone call to someone labeled Individual One, a name pulled straight from an actual federal wiretap tied to Tekashi 6x9. Then he pulled out the receipts and threw one of the messiest rumors in hip-hop history back into the spotlight. Individual One wasn't just a shady nickname. It was literally listed in official federal court documents. So when 50 dropped that on Instagram, the internet exploded. People were shook. One fan even joked that they were hiding out in Texas, begging no one to reveal that they were staying at the Four Seasons in San Antonio. Like that's how deep the paranoia hit once that name popped up again. And even now, the streets haven't forgotten, especially not with Jim trying to act bold on podcasts, throwing jabs and trying to get Nas to respond. 50 made it clear he wasn't done. He reposted a meme he had deleted a while back, and the caption was brutal. So that's why they haven't dragged him in. Another comment popped up right after saying, "Don't say that, Jimmy. The warning was loud, and the energy, it's about to snap." Let's rewind to 2019 for a second, because that's when things really started getting messy. Tekashi 6ix9ine's court case was back in the headlines thanks to a Shade Room update. And it came with a wild twist. A reporter confirmed that in court, Tekashi actually named Jim Jones as a member of the 9 Trey gang. That same year, 50 Cent posted a now famous reaction clip, acting like he was scared, saying something like, "Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up." The internet ate it up. People weren't holding back. They pointed out that Nas and Jim are only 3 years apart, yet Nas is still running laps around him.
Jim Jones is very childish and immature individuals hold grudges. Don't you think for one moment he's not mad at Nas because Nas invited Cam to the Hip Hop 50th celebration at Yankee Stadium and not Dipset?
Fans started pulling receipts and stats, saying, "You asked us to look, so here it is. Jim, you got a few songs, sure, but Nas has been dropping classics nonstop since 2018. You've been putting out music too, but no one's really listening." Then 50 went in again, throwing more shade. He posted something like, "I'm afraid for my life. Jimmy is gang gang." It was clearly sarcasm, but it had everyone laughing. Meanwhile, Jim, he was twitching, not because of 50 this time, but because this might have been Nas's cue to finally say something. After all that silent tension over the years, Jim basically handed him the perfect excuse to come swinging. This drama actually traces back even further to 2007. That's when Dipset was already falling apart, and 50 invited Jim Jones and Jules Santana on stage at a G-Unit concert. Cameron saw it as straight-up disrespect, and when Tekashi's case blew up years later, that's when fans finally got confirmation. Jim Jones was referred to as Individual One on a wiretapped call. He was never charged, but the name stuck, and snitching rumors went viral fast. Jim stayed quiet at first, but eventually posted a throwback Bird Gang photo with a caption, "Why you keep lying, LOL. I'm going back to sleep. Free male matrix. Till it's reversed." That wasn't just a tribute, it was a shot at 50, basically calling him out for pushing fake stories and living in a made-up world. Jim didn't slow down either. He posted a Jim clip and aimed it squarely at Shannon Sharpe. His caption said something like, "Tell Shannon Sharpe not to duck now. You called me out in front of everyone. Finish it." Ocho Cinco said, "No public challenge." Fine. Let's take it private. I know your rep's on the line, but we don't duck. Size don't matter where I'm from. Run it. It was like he was gearing up for war, and meanwhile 50 just kept playing the sidelines like a puppet master watching it all unfold. And just when you thought he was done, Jim added another post. "If you're over 40 and arguing with me about Nas, you already lost. Y'all fell for the bait. Every time this goes viral, my streams go up. I'm teaching the old heads how to market. Y'all stuck in the past. Mad at how the game works now. Tighten up." Then came the knockout line. "I said what I said. P.S. I'll wrap circles around any artist from my era who wants to step into the booth. Bring your money. This game ain't free. We outside. We working every day." But through all of this, Nas hasn't said a single word. Not even a whisper. He's let Jim rant, post, and shout into the void without blinking. Jim keeps pushing that he's more influential. But if Nas ever decides to respond, that won't be just a diss. That'll be a work of art. And until then, the internet is roasting Jim like Sunday dinner. And there you have it. The tea is boiling and the tension's real. Jim's not backing down, 50's pulling strings from the shadows, and Nas still silent. But if and when he speaks up, it's game over. Until then, we're watching the drama unfold like a front row seat to hip-hop history. So what do you think? Is Jim tripping or speaking facts? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an update. Because trust us, this story is far from over. Stay tuned and stay ready.